pulsating, this red like magma. I'm really upset that I didn't get any of this on film.
Well, they were trying to intimidate you, and, you know, they saw what happened in World War II when they tried that. I mean, 20 million dead. And we're not the ones they're threatening or being aggressive. We're just simply trying to be free. They want to follow the orders of evil people. I don't know why they're obsessed with that. But look, there are a lot of good Austrians, a lot of great Germans. In fact, probably more so than even Americans. At least more Germans are awake politically. They're either super evil or super good. But I would talk to some locals and say, do you like a secret global group meeting in secret and trying to run your life? And I think you're going to find the Austrians don't like it.
Absolutely. I'm sure that's definitely true. And I'm in no way bashing every Austrian. I'm just bashing this one guy. I'm not really bashing him. I'm just telling him. Well,
no, I mean, it's the stereotype. It's what Estelin said on air. He said, oh, my gosh, Austria is a horrible police state. Get ready. And then off air, he was like, oh, you better watch it, Alex. They're bad. And now we're finding out. Man, you think I should? It's not 3 miles down the road like the abortion clinic. Should I jump on an airplane and come out there?
I don't know. I think maybe.
I'm tempted. I mean, I'm just going to get in those guys' face. I'm sick of it, man. I mean, just say to them, what's your problem? I'm here trying to cover this. This is a national park. Are you saying I don't have access? That's a human rights violation. I think you should push him, Josh, if I was you. Push him politically with your rights as a citizen under the Geneva Convention. Tell him that. Say, are you going to violate the Geneva and Nuremberg Conventions again? Ask him that.
All right, absolutely, I will. After 24 plus hours of no sleep, I'm a little bit jet lagged, but let me get a night.
No, yeah, don't do it tonight. Don't do it. In fact, I meant to ask that question. How long since you've had no sleep?
I don't know, over 24 hours.
Well, you've done well. So you and Do, go get some sleep. Good job. Get up and at them. They're probably going to roust you out of your beds tonight. So have those cameras ready and plugged in and on. It's definitely going to be fireworks, folks. Author Doug Casey has been a guest here several times. Been familiar with his work for 25 years, but had a chance to speak at one of his events in San Antonio. I guess it was last year. Time just flies. CaseyResearch.com. And, of course, he is the best-selling author known for exposing how to be an international person. Now, that's the opposite of being a globalist. The globalists want one global system that central banks control where there is no freedom. The international man knows how to work outside of that system and stay one step ahead of them. Plus, the globalists like to leave escape valves, escape hatches, kind of like in They Live with the watches, for themselves. And his books, his newsletters, his information helps expose all of that. He is the cutting edge of that. We have so many expert guests on, and they say, you know, who I listen to, Doug Casey. So we're honored to have him. This with the backdrop of the globalists setting up the TPP that Congress can't read, that sets up one-sided trade deals for insiders, censors the internet, tries to end cash globally, tries to track all transactions. It's simply out of control. We have our reporters at Bilderberg, where these 150 crony capitalists are meeting, and 6 miles out from the meeting house, 4 days till it starts, they've got checkpoints on the highways. Those videos, all of that is up on Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com, and DrudgeReport.com. On the top of the right-hand side has Bilderberg 2015, full attendee list and agenda, elitist confab to discuss artificial intelligence. So we'll be breaking that down coming up in the third hour, getting into, speaking of executive power grabs. We reported on this Saturday, if you don't believe us or the NRA, Breitbart has their headline, Obama to circumvent Congress with gag order, that's a quote, on firearm coverage. So they're now saying firearms are so dangerous, we'll decide what speech is allowed with guns. And we're going to put it in the Federal Register by the State Department, the same people that banned putting the design for 3D printable guns last year. They said, we'll indict anyone in the world who puts these designs on the internet as if they are the global power. Just like the U.S. just indicted, 40-plus FIFA members, which I'm sure there's some corruption, but this is like Satan sitting in judgment of a low-level demon, stinker tail or whatever. A low-level demon that can't even, wipe its nose. This is like Hitler sitting in judgment at Nuremberg and the Nazi Party. I mean, this is, or Heinrich Himmler, or Hermann Goering, or Zeb Dietrich. I mean, this is just a mind-spinning joke to see all of this unfolding. The good news is, it's in the headlines today. We'll talk about this. Obama wants to bring in illegals, give them free everything as a new voting bloc. I'm for sovereignty, but I'm for having borders somewhat open, international travel, if you don't have welfare. But if you have a bunch of welfare, people will come there, they'll use it, they'll implode you. And that's the plan, of course. But federal courts now, 3 of them have ruled that Obama just saying borders are open magically is illegal, so he's now publicly backed off that initiative, but Soros is still funding it. We've got that news as well. Doug Casey's the chairman of Casey Research, best-selling author, world-renowned speculator, and libertarian philosopher. Doug Casey has garnered a well-earned reputation for his insights into politics, economics, and investment markets. Doug is widely respected as one of the preeminent authorities on rational speculation, especially in the high-potential natural resource sector. Doug literally wrote the book on profiting from periods of economic turmoil, which we're entering big time. His book, Crisis Investing, spent multiple weeks on the #1 New York Times best-selling list and became the best-selling financial book of 1980, surpassing big caliber names like Free to Choose by Milton Friedman and The Real War by Richard Nixon and Cosmos by Carl Sagan. Cosmos, KCResearch.com. Okay, I threw out a cornucopia, Doug, of things that are happening, things that are going on. 2 weeks ago, I tried to get you on the show about some international issues taking place, but and the war on people trying to expatriate and capital control starting to go in. Big global banks are meeting, openly saying in cash. What do you make of all this activity? Where is the state of the world economy right now, and what is Doug Casey doing to protect himself?
Well, Alex, it's great to be here, and I agree with everything you've said so far and enjoyed listening to you. As far as what's going to happen, let me give you a quote from Ray Bradbury. He said, "Something wicked this way comes," and that's exactly what's going on in the world today. On just about every front, the military front, the economic front, the social front, the political front, we're really heading into something really nasty. So it's a matter of great concern. And I think that your listeners shouldn't just be listening, they should be acting about this, because there's an excellent chance that even a year from now, even 6 months from now, it could be a month from now, the whole world is going to be turned inside out and upside down in a lot of different ways. So where should we start?
You know what? I'm going to give you the floor. Start wherever you want.
Well, I have to agree with you. First of all, what you said about FIFA, most Americans really don't give a damn about soccer. I mean, most of what we know about soccer relates back to Brandy Chastain back in 1999 when she ripped her jersey off and displayed a wonderful body.
Yes.
When she scored that winning goal against the Chinese women team in a FIFA tournament. But, so they're making a big deal out of a bribery scandal in FIFA. But, most people are unaware that FIFA is a private group. It's been around for 100 years. It's controlled by the guys that run it. Okay, that's fine. Their main job is to designate what the rules are for football and where the World Cup is going to be played, and money's passed around because their obligation is to these 200 and some government organizations that control soccer in various countries. So what's the big deal here? I mean, sure, they're paying themselves well, but it's nothing compared to the kind of theft that goes on with governments themselves.
Well, sure. I mean, the big banks spend like $2 billion of the $3 billion spent in a U.S. election operation, and really, from what I've seen, that's all they're doing is going in and giving money to the local sporting organizations as part of a profit-sharing operation. It just seems like the mafia that runs our country thinks it controls the whole world.
Well, that's right, Alex, and that is the most disturbing thing about it. 99% of all the people that watch soccer, that play soccer, all the soccer that's played, it's all outside of the United States. And these people they've indicted, they're all foreigners. And it's like the U.S. government, of all people, has become the world's moral arbiter and the world's policeman, where they're actually going to foreign governments and getting these foreign citizens extradited to stand trial back in the U.S. for violating American laws. And they're nonsense laws, like money laundering, which only became a crime, was manufactured as a crime only about 30 years ago. I mean, this is all shocking. I mean, nobody's safe anywhere in the world from the reach of the U.S. government anymore. This is just one more example. It's in the same class as last year when the U.S. sent a SWAT team into New Zealand to attack Kim.com, who's a German citizen and was violating no laws, either in New Zealand or...
Well, sure, let's expand on that. A law lets IRS seize accounts on suspicion, no crime required. That's the money laundering law that's written to be so broad. Outside of law, a 40-plus year Mexican restaurant that's got like 8 seats deposits the cash every day. They admit the cash is all clean. They're putting it in the bank, so they steal the woman's $37,000 life savings. And, I mean, it's just crazy what our government's turned into.
Yeah, it is. It's really turned into a cancer that's metastasizing, and it's taken on a life of its own at this point. It's a great matter of concern, and it's one reason why I really emphasize internationalizing yourself so that you're not totally under the control of the U.S. government. I mean, the risk in the financial markets is extreme, but it's nothing compared to the political risk that you have from your own government. Very, very disturbing.
What do you think spurring the power trip to have our, I know you're an expert on this, our government starting a war with Russia, starting a war with China, and we're not lionizing Russia or China, but they're not the ones aggressively, especially Russia, doing this. And it even came out in mainstream news today that our government admits they tried to overthrow Egypt, our ally, and put the Muslim Brotherhood in. So now Egypt's joined Russia and doing joint naval patrols. Why would they double-cross 35-year allies and put radicals in that chop Christians' heads off? Has our government gone criminally insane?
I think that's a reasonable way to describe it, actually, Alex. And looking at this brouhaha in the eastern Ukraine, what we have there are 2 provinces that are populated mainly by Russian speakers. The Ukraine isn't a real country anyway. It's kind of a political intertidal zone where a bunch of nationalities are caught between Russia and Romania and so forth. So these 2 provinces want to split off from the bankrupt and corrupt Ukrainian government and become independent. And the U.S. is backing the corrupt Ukrainian government in making these 2 provinces stay part of the Ukraine. I mean, this is just crazy, and they're trying to implicate the Russians in this. Of course, the Russians are sympathetic to these people because they're also Russians, and they'd like to see a border country in between them and the Ukraine, which, of course, the Americans are trying to get into NATO. But, this is like asking to start World War III. It really is criminally insane.
You, again, are the best-selling author who broke down how to be an international individual seeing this whole thing coming, and you've seen booms and busts. You've been credited for making folks a lot of money that listen to your strategies. And I want to get some of those strategies with you coming up in the next segment. But in the 8 or 9 minutes before we go to break, Doug Casey of CaseyResearch.com, looking at all the world news and this acceleration towards classical totalitarianism, do you think it's a conscious move or just the fact that different political elites have nothing holding